Hey guys, welcome back to We Watch Movie. I'm Mike, he's Jay, and you've got 7 days to not go see this fucking movie. I said, God damn!
I wasn't scared. I peed a little bit, but who cares? So, Rings, guys, you know what? I really thought that I was going to be terrified of this movie because you guys know that shit scares me all the time. Little Japanese girls, white dresses, and long hair. It's scary. Maybe I'm just scared of girls. I'm so scared I can't even talk to them. But no, I don't know what happened. I really don't. It was like Universal Studios Hollywood got a hold of this and made a fucking ride. It's like that. It's like a haunted house adventure. It's not scary really. It's got moments that are scary, but overall it's just, what the fuck am I doing here? Where's my life?
The first part especially. The first part is totally different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah, really. That's
and they released the first part online for people to watch because I think they wanted to make people think this was a different movie than it really was. But the first part, it's rings on a plane. Yeah. I'm tired of these motherfucking rings on this motherfucking plane!
Go away, Sonic!
It's literally on a plane, like, it feels like Final Destination is what it felt like, because the dude's like, and by the way, who does that? He's sitting next to a girl on a plane, and she's like, these flights are really long, aren't they? And he's like, have you ever heard about the tape that kills people?
That would immediately turn me on. I was like, no, you freak. It's like, God, can I get another seat, please? This guy wants to rape me and, like, film it. You ever heard
and
of
who
that
gets
tape?
on a plane at the exact moment that Samara's supposed to come fuck their shit up?
To be honest, it wasn't a bad idea because he thought if he kept running and you're in an airplane, I never thought that bitch could get up there. She's in a well, for Christ's sake. I mean, gosh, she could fly. Like, it's amazing. But that scene was cool. That was a very Final Destination action moment. So, I mean, I think maybe that's the problem. It was maybe marketing itself to be a resurgence of like a horror, Japanese horror thing, and it really comes off as just kind of like the stupidity of Darkness Falls, but just, I think I had fun with Darkness Falls. The movie sucks, but it kind of felt the same way to me. I had fun watching this movie. It sucked, but it wasn't scary, but the action was there.
Well, that's kind of where it goes, where you say you had fun watching it. I didn't have fun watching it. I don't think you did either, but I think I know what you mean. Is that at some point you walked out of the theater,
Mom.
And you, no, but you're like, it sucks, but at the same time, I was almost ready for a shitty horror sequel.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That had little moments, like just a little bit. It was boring as fuck, the last act of the movie.
Yeah.
Like the first part's totally different because they're in this airplane and it's this shock value sort of thing. And then we start to get more Ring-ish. Like it feels like the Ring again.
Eventually.
But who comes out of the fucking night? Like, okay, who casted this
comes out of the
movie?
night?
Who comes out of the night and is
Samuel L.
like,
Jackson.
Okay, I'm doing a casting call, right?
Uh-huh.
I need a grizzled, dark, bearded, kind of just like badass dude. Let's get the dude with curly hair from Roseanne and Big Bang Theory.
But to be honest, man, yes.
Johnny Galecki.
They pull out all the stops to get that. I mean, he's really busy, but he is from the Big Bang Theory. Now look, yes, he is not, to my opinion and yours opinion, apparently the greatest actor of all time, but he did have the snobbish professor thing down. He did seem dickish enough to play that role.
He just looked fat and sweaty.
He did look fat. I don't know why.
And like he was wearing too much black in the sun.
He just looked like he'd aged really bad. Like, I don't know.
Literally, he's shopping at a flea market, right? And this is where they're really aiming it towards high school kids. Mm-hmm. And they're shopping at a flea market and he sees a VCR and some really hot chick walks up and she's like, oh my gosh, look at how old this shit is. And he was like, I prefer vintage. And then she catches his eye and I was like, they're gonna fuck?
I know. It's like,
that would never fucking happen. This is some hipster, thrift shopper's dream.
And there's a party that he throws, it just screams hipster. That'd be like if you walked in on accident from the street because it looked like a cool little place to go and hang out. Yeah. You walk in, it's like, right back down. It's not my scene. I actually thought it was going to be a rebirth of this genre, but at the end of the day, I'm just happy to have something. Like we said that and when we were talking about the Rotten Tomatoes score predictions, that just to have something to go to the theater, something of the icons of horror. And I mean, I'm stretching it for Samara to call her an icon of horror. She's not in the same ball field as Freddy and all them. They're major league. She's more like minor league or summer league. But still to have that and go see it and be able to review it is a cool thing.
She's high up in tier 2.
Yeah, she's getting there. I mean, she's a bench warmer, but who knows? If it doesn't work out, we'll put you in for a few minutes.
Piggybacking off what you just said, what's good about this movie? It's the same way Sinister 2 was. In Sinister 2, the best part of the movie was when they would watch the tapes, and they did their own thing with the creepy found footage tapes that they found. And in this, the only really cool thing that I could grasp on was that they took the original tape and they added scenes to it. Like there's and it's part of the storyline. I won't give anything away, but there's more scenes to a tape. There's like a second tape almost.
And that is a cool thing. And it's shot eerily. Like it's an actual eerie ass scenes when they show that tape with a new tape.
It actually made me feel uncomfortable. And you remember the first tape, the finger on the nail and all that, and the chick just falling off the well and that weird.
Go away and never come back.
in the background. Fuck me, dude.
Yeah,
That
buddy.
tape really got inside of my butt.
No,
but this one, they added some scenes to it, and they're equally cool. I was impressed by it. It doesn't have the Gore Verbinski touch. It's not as honed, but there's a few shots in there that you're just like, I don't want to see shit flying in a church.
I know, it's weird.
No.
But they did do a really good job on that part. Yeah, you know, and like I said, when the acting hits, when it actually is good and consistent, it's not bad. Like, it draws you in enough. I didn't really care about the main characters of the movie that much, but I will say the best part of the movie, and as much as the role wasn't really filled out in the way it should have been for him, Vincent D'Onofrio was good. I mean, he's always good, I think, in everything he does. I liked him in this. I liked him in everything he does, but he was just playing the same Bagul character that he did in Sinister. I mean, the same fucking guy.
Yeah.
It's literally like some guy that hangs out in the cemetery. He's like the caretaker of the cemetery, blind, like James Earl Jones in The Sandlot, and he's telling him about Samara. And it's like he tells them all like the mythology behind her and stuff. It helps guide them on their right. It's the same thing as Bagul's guy. Like, it was
Matt Murdock's grandpa. But
I know.
and you're right. He's a good actor, so it's cool to see him in this movie. And halfway through the movie, you're like, isn't he fucking? Where's he at?
I know. I thought he was integral.
And then he shows up right when stuff's actually being kind of cool, and they're going into their own kind of story. Like, up to this point, they've really just treaded water. They've done the same thing that the original Ring did, and we get to a point where this teacher, Johnny Galecki, he's taken a fascination with the tape after he watches it. So he's trying to manipulate it, and I won't get too much into that.
Well,
it's sort of
well,
spoilery.
all he's trying to do, it's not giving anything away. He's trying to prove life after death. And with this tape, he's able to think he can do that.
Which is an interesting idea.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I like where they're headed with that. They just didn't capitalize on it. They didn't execute on it. But he's trying to manipulate things with the tape, and that's pissing off Samara. But when they start to recreate the tape and the stuff's starting to actually get cool, and it feels a lot like in the original Rings when Naomi Watts and her boyfriend from Creed are going and they're trying to investigate. They literally just copy and paste, like, oh, we're right in that same vein. Like, right in the middle of the movie, they start to investigate because they have 7 days left and they want to save themselves. And that's what runs them into D'Onofrio. Now, at that point, the movie's pretty cool, but once they run into him, even though he's good, it gets really fucking boring. It's a lot of dialogue and explaining shit that you don't care about, that's full of plot holes, and it goes deep into Samara's past,
Deep
and
in the butt.
deep in the well, and it changes a bunch of shit, and I just don't like it. I don't like what they did with the lore of Samara. I didn't care about where they went, and it was, they fucked with it too much, but yet kept it too much the same, if that makes any sense. It was still boring.
Yeah, and it's like when you're, I guess, when you're running or doing some kind of thing at the gym or something, and then you've hit the wall. Like, you can't go any further. That's exactly what you're talking about with D'Onofrio. When they get to that scene specifically near the third act, it just fucking flatlines. Like, there was a little moments of its bleep. You know, it's going up and down. It's like, okay, maybe something good, and then it's a fuck you. And then it's over. But I don't know if you guys have seen this movie or not, and if you go and watch this movie, you'll see, I swear to God, I actually now just thought of it. Thinking of this movie, they ripped a lot off from this movie. And that movie wasn't even good. Hellraiser Deader. That movie came, I think that was
called Deader?
Yeah, it's the 7th movie, I think, and Doug Bradley's in it, which, I mean, it's Doug Bradley, but it's the movie itself, it sucks, and really, that movie is just about people that are death worshippers, and they build this cult around the box, and they worship the box like it's some kind of god, and they want to live forever, so they're manipulating the box.
Pretty much what men do.
They do.
We worship the box.
We worship that. We just want to walk around the temple, not go inside and touch the flower. But they worship the box, and you know, Doug Bradley or Pinhead finds out and gets pissed. He's like, "You're manipulating things you shouldn't be." But it's literally the same fucking story. Like, it feels exactly like there's elements of Deader in this movie. And I don't know, man. I really was hoping something that was going to be new and different and fresh and exciting and something that I've never seen before with The Ring. And we didn't get there. I mean, I'm just dumb. I don't want to see Ringer. The second one.
I don't want to see
Ringsy. It's going to be called Ringsy 2.
You know what they failed on most with this movie is that they did this thing with the files where you think it's the new age, it's the new information, all that shit, the internet, AOL, high-speed dial-up.
Hello.
It's going on.
You've got mail.
It's all happening. But you would think that they would take that premise and be like, oh fuck, what if the tape went viral? As it so easily could. You could play with that. You could do a bunch of stuff with that. What if business was so good for Samara she had to hire somebody else? I mean, it was like the Ghostbusters at the height of when they're taking off and doing shit all the time.
Yeah. I would have rooted for Samara if they fucking took on the new Ghostbusters. Kill those bitches.
If the actual Ring tape went viral and she had so many people killed, she's like 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days.
She'd get tired.
I'm making a joke, but honestly, like, that would be way cooler if it was this mass pandemic that, like, people were fucking dying left and right.
Dude, that's a good idea. Yeah, buddy, I like where you're going.
See?
But here's another, I want to say this. Really quick, going off what you're saying about that and what they could have done differently and made it, update it and bring it to a new level of cool. what if they had just made it to where the tape got out on YouTube and like everybody was talking about watching a weird YouTube video?
That's what I'm saying, if it went viral.
Yeah, like that'd be insane. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of different routes they could have taken. I think they just chose this because they figured, hey, we'll just keep the VHS tape because it's synonymous with Samara. And that's stupid.
People be pissed, be like, how come I'm not getting Samara shit in my sub box?
I know.
What's going on, YouTube?
I've been subscribed for at least 20 days and I'm not dead yet. So,
yeah, YouTube would be saving lives with their shittiness.
We might get more popular because more fuckers would die.
So basically, ultimately, this movie it's a fucking just by the numbers horror sequel. Like if you look at like we talk about Samara being in tier 2, this movie falls for her. And for The Ring, it falls as like, you know, one of the late Freddy movies or one of the shitty Michael Myers movies or whatever. So that's why we almost enjoy that it exists. Like, I don't mind that the movie exists, even though they didn't capitalize on how cool it could have been. So it's right in the middle for me. I think it sucks as a movie, but I'm glad it exists in a weird way as a sequel. And I hope at some point down the road someone actually makes a good sequel or restarts the whole thing or does something. But it's a 5.
Way down. Yeah, way down the line. Yeah, it's a 5 for me too. And, you know, like you said, man, like it is a shitty movie for that kind of horror franchise that it's become. The Ring is synonymous with a lot of people being terrified and loving that movie just as much as most people love Nightmare, but I hated Nightmare 5. I thought Nightmare 5 sucked big old ball sacks of leather. And I would have still gone and seen that movie though if it had come out recently and still had a good time watching because it's freaking Freddy Krueger. And it's just nice to see. It wasn't nice to see her, but it was. It's Samara because she scares me, but it was still cool to have that, to be able to go see it. And again, I mean, if you're a horror fan at all, you know, I don't really want to tell you to go spend your money on it and waste it. I would say go spend your money with your friends that love The Ring just to get a good kick out of it and something that's nostalgic, but don't go expecting it to be some great horror movie that's going to make you go, like later on. The only thing that might fuck you up is when you leave thinking about that new tape. That might screw with you.
It's the epitome of a rental. I mean, it's a rental. Like,
it's a rental.
If you're really into the Rings franchise, like, and you want to watch Rings and you want an excuse to watch it, and I think that's why I'm okay with it, because if I want to just have a night, like right now I have Ring and Ring 2. Right? And I'm like, that's not enough. Yeah. But now I have Ring, and it's like you watch Ring, and you're like, yes, it's the best, like the first one typically is. And then you got to go watch Ring 2, and you're like, oh, fuck this piece of shit.
I don't know why.
Now you have like, it's
there.
It's Rings.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just now thought about this too. And it may be just me, but I was looking, when I was watching this movie, Ring 1 and Ring 2, I know you're talking years and years between, and then Rings. But Ring and Ring 2 was not nearly as good as Ring. Not even close. But it felt more visceral in the first 2 Rings. It felt more practical effects, and I know it wasn't. I mean, there were practical effects, and I mean special effects, but just this one felt clean. It felt real clean. You know what I mean? And not in a good way, clean. Not that kind of clean, but just like it just felt polished. It just felt like when I say Universal Studios Hollywood, like that kind of ride. Yeah. That's exactly what I felt.
She felt way too CGI.
Yeah, and that's why I guess I wasn't scared of her, because in the first Ring she looked fucking freaky, but in this one when she's walking, there's all this like static effect coming off of her, and it didn't look as scary to me. I don't know why. It just looked CG.
It really did feel sequelish, like the way that she looked and stuff like that. And talk about the death scenes. Like there's a couple. They actually did. I thought watching, I'm like, the death scenes are gonna suck.
Yeah.
And actually, they were okay. There was 1 or 2 death scenes that were all right, but it's nothing new. Like they gotta give her a new trick, man. They gotta think of a reason for her, like a way for her to kill someone in a different way. Because all they do is like she does the fucking crow thing. Like she's like, hey, and like she looks at you, and then all of a sudden you're like.
I know, it's
every time.
I mean, it's pretty much the same old story. Guy sees girl at a bar, girl has hair and face, guy gets drunk, guy takes her home, pulls her face away, dies of fright because you're fucking ugly. Holy shit.
They did an okay job with the facial effects. They actually almost, because in the first one, when they find the girl in the closet, that's probably the best scare of the movie, when all of a sudden they open the door and she's like, ah! You know?
Yeah. Yeah, but that thing was a totally different, like that actually scared the shit, because I was not expecting that. Like now you know what they look like.
Yeah, but they got close to it. Like when
the girl,
someone dies at the very end, I was like, "Oh, that actually looks cool." It woke me up for a second. And then I went back the fuck to sleep.
Yeah, I was passing it out. And by the way, I'm just gonna say this. So I'm gonna pull her ratio to end this review. I wish I had my glasses, like some sunglasses. Like, so at the end of the day, this well has run dry. I was just saying that because Mike and I read some Rotten Tomatoes review, and they were talking about the well needs to be closed or some shit. I'm like, God.
Follow us on Twitter, by the way, because every week I go and I find the worst Rotten Tomatoes pun I can find and then put it on Twitter.
That shit's funny.
Also follow us on Instagram. Question of the day, guys. Obviously, what did you think about Rings if you saw it? And really, like, do you want more? Do you want more?
I mean, I gotta say, I wouldn't. I mean, not right now. I mean, I'm still trying to digest something, but
you're like Daniel Craig and James Bond. You're like, I'm really tired because I just shot the movie, and right now I don't want to see, hear, or think of James Bond. But maybe down the line.
Maybe later. It's like if you drank too much. It's like you want to do this coke. It's like, I mean, maybe in a bit.
Reminds me of Friends when Rachel's dating a gynecologist, and he's like, "You're a waitress, right?" She's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you ever just come home and you're like, God, if I see one more cup of coffee?"
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. Yeah, I mean, I kind of want
only
more
vagina.
Yeah, I just would rather do it later on. Thanks, though.
So basically, Rings is like a gynecologist who doesn't like vagina anymore.
What?
I don't know what happened. Do you guys want to see more of the Rings franchise, or should they just let it die? Throw the damn towel! Should they just throw the damn towel?
You can't give up, Rock.
Or not. I would love your fucking faces, and if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and get some goddamn wham up in you.
Wow.
7 days.
Ah, that's alright.
We watched a movie. Yeah. We watched a movie. We watched it. We watched a movie. Yeah.